Hey everyone, this is Dana Bentz, Realtor with Keller Williams, back live with the Dana Show again. So normally I do a show every Wednesday, but this week was a little bit different. We had a huge, well, maybe not huge, but we had a pretty big snowstorm just this last week. Maybe you can't call it a storm, but we had snow, so that kind of shifted me and our guests' schedules around a little bit. So today's Thursday. We're doing the Dana Show again. Our guest is still figuring out their computer, but they will be here. So I'll announce him when he gets here, but I wanted to go live so that to not keep you guys waiting. So before the guest gets here, I just want to talk a little bit about why I decided to start the Dana Show. So for those of you who don't know what the Dana Show is, it is a show where I interview other business owners, entrepreneurs, anyone who's got some kind of side hustle they're running that's making them money. And I do it every Wednesday. It's always live with StreamYard because StreamYard lets me have two guests, me and another guest on my live show. So when I started it a month ago now already, it's already been a month, I decided I wanted to learn more about business. And what better way to do that than asking real business owners, people who have been running businesses for a long time, for a short time, and I wanted to get to know different kinds of industries. I wanted to get to know behind the scenes, I guess, of different industries. So I thought that interviewing business owners was a great idea to do that. And what better way to share that with others than to do a live show so that anyone on Facebook can tune in and hear the other guest. So it originally started with me wanting to learn about other businesses, but then I thought, well, might as well tape these episodes by doing it live and then posting them on Facebook, which gives other people the opportunity to tune in to them. So that's where we're at. We're on, I think this is episode 4 already of the Dana Show. It might be number 5, which is awesome. And I have loved that people who own businesses have been reaching out to me, wanting to be on my show because that's really cool. And yeah, if you want to be on my show, I'd love to have you. So you can post a comment here, or you can shoot me a direct message and we can schedule a Wednesday for you to be on my show. Next week, we've got a guy, Jacob, who I met through the Portland Millionaire Mastermind Club, and our guest today is also from that club. So there's been actually quite a few guests that have come from that group, and that's a meetup group that meets every Sunday in the Pearl District. So let me check on our guest who's coming on here shortly. So today I'll just give a little tiny bit of background. I know he'll give you a better background on himself. So today we have a guy named Andrew Weiss. He and I met again in the Portland Millionaire Mastermind Club. And the cool thing about him, why I'm excited he's coming on the show today, is that he is his passion is for public speaking and making presentations. So what I'm really excited about is this is a perfect opportunity for him to, I guess, public speak, if you will, because it's a live show. But also he's going to explain why public speaking and presentation skills are important as business owners. So a lot of times if you're a solo entrepreneur just working with yourself, you might not think that presentation skills and things like that would be important because it's just yourself. But I think as business owners, most of us are salespeople. Well, a lot of us are salespeople who are selling whatever it is, our product, our service, and having public speaking and presentation skills are really good when you're in sales. So that's a little bit about Andrew, and he should be here any minute. first, before he gets here, I also want to talk about StreamYard. So that's literally what my show is on. It's the tool that my show uses to go live. So instead of just going straight to Facebook, I can go from the StreamYard studio, and that lets me have the cool little Dana Show sign there, and my logo's in this corner. So that's what I really like about StreamYard, and that's why I use it. So, okay, we've got our guest here today. Give me 1 second. Hey, Andrew. How's it going?
Oh, fantastic for a Thursday. How about yourself?
Good. Thanks for being here. Thanks for making it. So I don't think you were listening yet, but I just gave our viewers a tiny bit of background on you, where we met, and then you're all about public speaking and presentation skills. So can you just jump right into what you do and what you're up to?
Yeah, so right now my full-time gig is I'm a speaker that travels around Oregon working for a nonprofit. We teach business and entrepreneurship to high school students, and our goal is to educate the next generation of leaders. And so it's my role to help make sure that these high school students have the opportunity to have more leverage for the future, because as you might know, Dana, it's a professional role. It can be very competitive out there. A lot of people want to get that same job, get that same client as you. And if you don't do anything to stand out from them, then you fall behind or you don't get to accomplish the goals you set out to do. And so it's my full-time gig to travel around Oregon giving presentations. On the side, I also use my entrepreneurship mind by owning an ATM to build a passive income source. I've also published the books to get experience in the book field publishing. And I also do public speaking coaching for people, for those who are also looking to increase their public speaking skills and build a platform for themselves to make sure that public speaking and presentations don't hold them back from where they want to go.
Awesome. So I didn't know you published a book.
I did. It's a book of 100 bird puns.
What's it called? 100 bird puns.
Yeah, it's called Toucan Play It This Game, like the toucan bird. And so it's a very fun book, has a lot of illustrations to it, and it stands out from other books because some pun books is literally just a bunch of words of puns. Other pun books is just a picture, but this is like a whole storyline, and it's over 100 of them, and so it's a very exciting read.
Nice. Interesting. I didn't know that. Learn something every day. So you, with these kids, are you teaching these kids who already have decided, like, hey, we want to be entrepreneurs? Or is this like just any high school students, just generally you're teaching high school students?
Yeah, we teach anywhere from graduating 8th graders to graduating seniors. And these are students, I don't know about you, Dana, but when I was in high school, I wasn't really sure about my career direction. I wasn't really sure what I was good at, what I enjoyed doing, what I liked, what my future was going to look like per se. And so we're here to help provide them the answers to say, hey, if you don't know, we want to help you get a better sense of what you are good at, what you like, and more importantly, of course, what you don't like. Because sometimes that's half the battle, is like once you know what you don't like, you know exactly how to stay away from that. And then once you do like, you can just head in a better direction towards that. And so I speak at anywhere from classrooms to assemblies to conferences. So it really depends on the big variety of settings that I present in. And it's anywhere from crowds of 5 to 10 students to 500 students. And just kind of students who just basically hopefully care about their future and understand that there are opportunities out there of programs built to help them out, to get them that leverage they need. And so really kind of make sure that we help provide them the opportunity in the first place.
Yeah, that's awesome. So how long have you been doing that part?
I've been doing this for about 3 years now. Mm-hmm. Okay. And my passion for public speaking actually, so the reason why I am so passionate about public speaking personally is that when I was about 10 years old, my own family gave me a book that said, "Nobody listens to Andrew." And it's literally, yep, it's true. And it's a book about a little kid, la-di-da, walking through the woods, and all of a sudden he sees a giant bear. And so he's like, oh crap, there's a giant bear coming, what am I gonna do? And so he runs back into town saying, hey, bear, 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 watch out, watch out. But everyone's like, Andrew, this kid doesn't know what he's talking about. And so sure enough, that bear comes into town. Everyone goes, oh crap, there's a bear. They start hiding in their houses, shutting their blinds. And at the end of the story, the bear leaves town like, Andrew, we are so sorry we didn't listen to you. maybe next time. And so I basically grew up my whole life thinking that, okay, what's the point of even talking or giving presentations if no one's going to pay attention anyway, if my voice isn't going to be heard. And then eventually I kind of found my voice again when I joined Toastmasters, which is a public speaking club. Are you familiar with Toastmasters, Dana?
Yep, I'm in the Pearl District one.
Perfect. Yeah, highly recommended. Yeah. And from there, they taught you like how to eliminate filler words, how to have good stage presence, how to organize and structure your presentations, how to use props. And with getting all these skills, I started realizing that no matter what situation I went to, whether it was a networking party, whether it was spending time with family and friends, or just spending time in a room with people I didn't know that well, I now knew how to come across as a more powerful presenter and make a good impression on people by the way I was able to communicate. Because they even say that the way you communicate, it's only about 20% of what you're saying, about 80% of how you're acting, how your tone is while you're saying that. And so by having this newfound confidence about the way I'm able to present and talk to people, I really want to help people, discover their own passion for developing their voice and making an impact in their communities by having that passion and actually having the right structure behind it of how to properly communicate about things they're passionate about.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what would you say, why is presentation skills, public speaking skills, things you learn in Toastmasters, things you teach other people, why is that important for business owners specifically?
Yeah, so for business owners, if you have an idea, you got to communicate it. You got to get people who want to invest in it. You want to get people who are going to get behind you to help market idea, to help do financing for the idea, to help do operations for the idea. And if you don't know how to properly communicate with confidence or just communicate in general, what your idea is, how you help solve problems for people, no one's going to listen to you. No one's going to pay attention. And so those who can learn the best public speaking presentation skills, they're the ones who get elected as politicians, they get chosen as leaders of companies, they get things done at town hall meetings. And what people don't realize too is that public speaking is actually the number one fear in the world. They show that consistently again and again. People fear it more than spiders, more than snakes, more than zombies, even more than death. And if we don't acknowledge that it's actually built into our DNA to be afraid of public speaking and to tackle that and then push forward from that, then we don't get to see our true potential for the companies we get to create or the impact we get to have on communities. And that's why I'm such a big advocate for helping making sure people learn these public speaking skills they can apply towards any career or any job or any company they might own.
Yeah, that's really neat. So I don't want to pick your brain too much, but I want to know.
Go for it. Yeah.
I want to know, is there some kind of tip or trick you have for someone who's maybe decent at public speaking or decent at presenting, but they just hate it and they'd like to get better? Is there some kind of small action step or maybe medium-sized action step that they can take to just get a little bit better?
Let's see. Yeah. So we're starting from person's okay at public speaking, they're decent at it, but they want to get better. That's where we're going from.
Yeah.
Okay. So I would say the first thing I'd recommend is that one of the biggest mistakes a lot of presenters, a lot of communicators make when they're giving a presentation is that they are really robotic with it. They're like, hey, here I am giving my speech, giving my presentation, listen to me, I'm going to talk in this way. And I'm sure we all know those speakers oh gosh, okay, another one of those speakers. And so the top tip I have is to make your presentations conversational. Even if you're talking to a crowd of 1,000 people, how can you talk to them in a tone and with the body language? You're only talking one-on-one, just trying to help them out. And so when you make your presentations conversational, it really helps you relate better with the audience. Because when you're as an audience member, you basically get the energy from the speaker. And if you feel like the speaker isn't there to actually help you and provide value to you, you just kind of start tuning out and go, okay, here's just another guy, or this person has an ability or a skill set that I'm never going to be able to have myself. And so when you become a relational speaker and become vulnerable and become raw about some times and failures you've made in your past, it really helps relate to the audience better. So make it a conversation. Don't have to pretend to speak in a deep voice like this and be all grandiose. Just make it a conversation. Hey, I'm just here to provide this value today. Here's what I've learned. I hope it can help you and what you've learned as well. So that's definitely the first tip, is make it conversational. The next one is really study your audience. All right, who are you talking to? When I'm giving presentations to high school students in a classroom, I'm going to use a lot different tone, a lot different language than if I'm talking to a bunch of investors in a room. And so you really want to adjust your presentation, adjust your skill set based on who you're talking to make sure you're relating as much as possible to them and be able to offer the max amount of impact and value that really depends on who you're talking to. So that's definitely a couple of them, is make sure you make it conversational, know who your audience is, how to relate to them the best, and don't just use cookie cutter templates. And those are definitely a couple of good starting points. I can definitely give you more, but happy to adjust accordingly. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I think that's awesome. And would you say, I know I've had my limited experience in Toastmasters, but would you say that you learn those two things pretty well doing the Toastmasters Club?
So funny enough, that's actually one of the things that Toastmasters doesn't teach you, is they don't teach you how to be conversational. They don't teach you how to be more relatable to the audience. They just teach you how to get up there and give a formal presentation and don't use filler words, and make sure you use body language, make sure that you're using certain hand motions depending on your gestures. But they don't teach you, hey, here's how you give a conversation to your audience that makes the audience want to relate to you, want to listen to you. Because if you watch all the best public speakers of Toastmasters who win the championships each year, they're the ones who make their conversation or their presentations conversational. While everyone else is sticking to this cookie cutter, saying, oh, if I speak in this tone and then make this pause at this time, then hopefully I'll give a good presentation. But that's actually what people fail to realize, is the importance of making it conversational in the first place. And then as far as relating to the audience, I guess that just kind of took practice as well, of being able to in front of different groups of people, different times, different age ranges, different lengths of presentations, different purposes. And I started to notice, okay, if I try and give the same presentation to high school students as a bunch of adults, then it's going to be not as good. They're not going to appreciate it as much. And so you just kind of had to adjust it accordingly. And then, of course, I've also read several books and blogs about how to become a better public speaker, how to become a better presenter, and is constantly adding skill sets and knowledge to my repertoire to help then spread awareness to others as well.
Awesome. Well, we have a question from our audience. How did you start your business, and where can we find you? Thanks, Corinder, for asking the question.
Yes, hello, Corinder. Yes, it's a cool name, by the way. So I started my business by getting a business license. You could go that to the Oregon or state registry. Yeah. And from there, you just, once you get your license, you can make as much money as you want from it. And you can find me at by emailing me, Weiss Wisdom, WEISS Wisdom, WISDOM @gmail.com. You can also visit my Facebook page, Weiss Wisdom. And you could also follow me on Twitter. I think it's the Andrew J. Weiss right now. And so if you want to get more information, I'm more than happy to send that to you and connect with you and give you more public speaking advice and tips. Definitely.
Sweet. Awesome. So are you taking on new clients for your public speaking and presenting?
Yeah, I am taking on new clients. Whether you're a person who's just starting out, not really sure how to give a presentation, or whether you think that you're at a decent level, but you want to bring up to a whole nother level, or whether you want to learn how to get paid as a presenter or how to make a better investment pitch. I'm accepting a wide range of people who are ready to get to that next level in public speaking and not let it hold them back from what they want to accomplish.
Yeah, I love that. So last question I want to ask you, and our audience can jump in if they want to ask other questions. But what would you say is, so you're entrepreneurial, especially in the fact that you're doing multiple things. So it sounds like you have a lot of things going on. But public speaking and presenting is like your main, like your passion. So can you talk about what the pros and cons maybe are of being an entrepreneur, like running a business, being a business owner, pros and cons?
Definitely. Well, I guess I'll start with the cons first. You don't have a steady paycheck. Your next income isn't always guaranteed. And then also because you get to set your own hours, sometimes you might not know, which hours work best for you, and you can kind of procrastinate as needed. But pros is, my favorite part about being an entrepreneur is that there's no limit how much money you can make per hour. If you determine how to develop your skills, how to get better each time, while some people are applying to jobs that pay 15, 20, 30, maybe even $50 an hour, as an entrepreneur, that means nothing to you. You can make $100 an hour, $1,000 an hour, $10,000 an hour. And so that's definitely one of my favorite parts about being an entrepreneur, is that just the sky's the limit. It's just such an incredible feeling. And then once you do get a sense of how to set your own schedule, I can work when I want to, where I want to, with who I want to, doing what I want to do. No one tells me when I have to go to the bathroom or when I get to go to the bathroom. And so a lot of perks of being an entrepreneur, in my opinion, but I also understand how it's not for everyone. Not everyone can handle being their own boss, having to make their own decisions. They prefer to work in a structured environment, prefer to being told what to do, and that's totally okay. At least it works for you. But for me, that's definitely what I appreciate about it, is just being able to set my own hours, not how to limit how much money I can make per hour, and being able to say that I am my own boss.
Yeah, I love that. Yep, and I think that's those pros I definitely resonate with, and that's why I run my own business too. We have one more question from the audience. What advice can you give people if they want to get started doing what you're doing?
Just leap in. Really, I'd say to kind of determine what are some skill sets that you have that you think you can monetize. All right, are you good at drawing? Are you good at connecting people? Are you good at let's see, event planning? And the best piece of advice I like to give to people that I definitely incorporate in my own life is find someone who has the lifestyle, who's accomplished the goals that you want to accomplish, and then connect with them. And then use the code word. In the professional world, the code word is called informational interview. And so in your case, Corinder, you'd say, hey, my name's Corinder. I noticed that you're professional at event planning. You make a lot of money doing drawing. You make money doing YouTube videos, hosting a show called The Dana Show. What advice would you have for an aspiring person who wants to get to where you want to go? And people, Corinder, here's a secret: people love talking about themselves. And so there's a good chance they'll respond to you going, oh, well, I actually did this, and then I wish I had known this, and then this went well for me, and then I did this happen, this happened, this happened. But you really got to have the courage and the vulnerability to ask them that questions in the first place, because if you never ask, the answer is always no. And please don't get offended if no one responds, or if they don't have time to connect with you. That's why you want to put the odds in your favor. So instead of just finding one or two people that have a career or have a lifestyle you'd like to have, find 10 people. This way you increase your chances of connecting with someone, you get more perspectives, more opinions, and you put the odds in your favor. That's definitely what I recommend, is that find a person who's accomplished what you want to accomplish or has what you want, and just reach out to them. Email them, tweet them, give them a cold call if you're really feeling bold, and just say, hey, here's where I'm at right now. I noticed you do this. I'm really interested in what you do. I'd love to connect with you to discuss how you got to where you are and what advice you'd have for someone who wants to get into that field. And then, of course, a good way to connect with them is making sure you can provide them value in the first place. Like for Dana, you might say, oh, hey, Dana, I know that you're in the real estate industry. I have a friend who might be looking to get a house someday. I'd love to connect with you two. And while I'm connecting you two, is there time we can get together sometime and hear about how to become such a great professional in the real estate industry? So that's definitely what I'd recommend as well.
Love that. Awesome. Well, I think Corinder liked your advice for him. And yeah, thanks, Corinder, for tuning in. Thanks everyone for watching. If you're watching live or if you're watching the replay, so you can say hi in the comments. But thanks everyone for tuning in to this episode of The Dana Show. Andrew, it was so nice to have you. I feel like I learned some quick tips on how I can get better at my presenting skills. Is there anything else you want to tell the audience? I mean, you've been full of advice so far. Any tips or tricks off the top of your head?
I guess top of my head, what noticing recently is that passion really is one of the most important things. If you're going to dive into something, you better put some passion behind it. You can't just go half in into the real estate industry. You can't go half in into becoming a better public speaker. You got to make the decision, make that determination that, you know what, I'm going to put every ounce of energy, thought process, get all the help I need to just really blitz or tackle this thing head on. Because I think that's where sometimes, like myself, a lot of people struggle, is that we say, oh, I think I want to do this. I think I want to do this. Just don't hold back. Just kind of go for it. Put passion into it. Put energy behind it. Put enthusiasm behind it. And don't care what people have to say about it or what they think about it. Just go for it. And that really will be a great determining factor in like what you're accomplishing. And then, of course, when you put passion behind something, you're enjoying the journey. You're not just focused on the result. You're not just focused on, oh, I'm only going to be happy once I accomplish this. I'm only going to be successful once I make this much money. When you're passionate about something and going head first into it, you enjoy the process more. And that's really what it's all about.
Yep. Wow. I love that. And you can tell that you're passionate about public speaking.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Very passionate. Yes.
I love that. Well, so you can reach Andrew at weisswisdom@gmail. Is that right?
Yeah, weisswisdom@gmail.com. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Perfect. Well, thank you again for being on the show. I so appreciate it, Andrew. And everyone else, we will see you next Wednesday for the next episode. So see you then. Bye, Andrew.
Thank you, Dana. Cheers.
See ya.